So to begin, I thought we would start in a seated position today, and I want you to come into a comfortable seat that's right for you and your body, your shape today. I am going to choose to sit in Virasana, kneeling pose, but upon a block. So I'm going to place my block. If you have books, you can always bring a pillow underneath your buttocks or a blanket, a folded up blanket. You can sit in Sukhasana, which is easy cross-legged pose. And, support your seat. Again, whether you're sitting upon a pillow, a blanket, a block, no matter what your leg variation is, you just want to be comfortable. And we will be here for a little bit. So if you feel like you need to change, please do. Again, always honoring where you're at, especially as we come into different sensations within our body, as well as our external bodies. And so just feeling the growth and that movement, again, the flow of energy, breath, as we come into these shapes, into these postures, and what feels right in our bodies today, and with each moment, and always honoring that. Okay, so as we come into our seated position, you can have your hands relaxed on your thighs, palms facing down, and when you feel ready, you can start to close your eyes. And if you don't want to close your eyes today, if that is uncomfortable for you, totally fine. Just allow your eye gaze to soften. Just point or direct your eye gaze more forward, not really looking at something, but more through something. Allowing the point of focus to draw more inward. The eye gaze or drishti. And then just notice your breath. The natural intake of prana, energy, life force. And that natural outtake. And as we notice the breath, notice with every inhale how the lungs expand. The heart space kind of expands in all directions, from front to back, side to side. And as we exhale, sense of drawing back inward, softening as the diaphragm contracts back up. And as we inhale, again, the lungs expand out. The diaphragm draws down to create space for the lungs. And with that natural outtake, exhale. The lungs soften as the diaphragm contracts back up. Just feeling that equal exchange of giving and receiving. Maybe stay with that image in your mind's eye, or just bringing your awareness into the feeling and sensation around the lung space. And we'll bring the energy or that focus a little bit further down in towards our pelvic floor. Again, we're not really changing the breath. We're not really reaching for a sensation, but just drawing our awareness into the pelvic floor. So as we inhale, the pelvic floor expands, it releases. And then as we exhale, that slight tone and lift of the pelvic floor, drawing in and up. And then just staying with that imagery, again, in your mind's eye, in your heart center, or just feeling that sensation down into the pelvic floor. The inhale, it expands. And the exhale, it contracts back in, up. It's very subtle sensation. Just becoming more aware of that containment, also known as mula bandha. So we're not allowing our energy to leak out from beneath us, but we're drawing that energy back in and up. Also really good for our hips and the lower back as they start to expand to make room for our base. Thought today we would open with alternate nostril breath. So we'll just be working our right and left side of our energy channels, nadis. So known as Pingala on the right, Ida on the left, solar, lunar, feminine, masculine. So you'll bring your right hand up to your face and your index and, middle finger will either rest at your third eye space or you'll tuck it into the palm of your hand. Then you'll bring the thumb at your right nostril, hover your ring finger over your left. And we'll start by just breathing in through both nostrils. And then exhale out through both. Cover your right with your thumb, inhale through left. Exhale out through your left. Inhale through left. At the top, cover left, open right, exhale through right. Inhale through your right. At the top, cover your right, open left, exhale. Inhale through left. At your top, cover left, open right, exhale. Inhale when you're ready, up through your right. And at your own pace, start to work from your right side to left, left back to your right. We'll be here for another few moments, working our left and right side nadis, energy channels. Next time you exhale out to the left, go ahead, relax your right hand back to your lap, your leg, thigh. And just coming back to our natural breath, in through the nose, out through the nose. And start to invite Samavriti, equal wavelength breath. If you know Ujjayi, you're more than welcome to invite Ujjayi breath. But you want to find an inhale that feels right. So a count of your inhalation that feels right. It could be a 4 count, 6 count. It doesn't have to be an even number. It could be an odd number. And then the same count as you exhale. And that same count as you inhale. As you exhale. And just finding your own rhythm with your equal wavelength breath. Samavriti. We'll be here a little bit longer in our seated position. So again, if you need to switch up your seat, please feel free. Maybe it's the cross of your legs. Let's go ahead, bring the hands, the arms by your sides, fingertips grazing or touching the floor. Just kind of depends on your anatomical body. And then walk your fingertips out so the shoulder heads are relaxed, the arm bones are long. Just take a moment here. Lifting up through the back of the body, up through the crown with your inhale. And as you exhale, feel your sit bones grounding you, drawing in and up through the pelvic floor. And so just some neck release stretches. On your inhale, lengthen out through the head. And as you exhale, let your left ear come towards your left shoulder. So opening up to the right side of the neck. And relax the jaw. You can keep your eyes closed. Relax the space between your brow. And just take it a little bit further. So walk your right fingertips out to the right until they hover an inch or so away from the floor. Spread out the fingertips as if your fingertips have roots connecting into the earth. And relax the jawline, relax the muscles of the face, space between your brow. One more big breath here. Let your right fingertips come back to the earth. Head and neck back up to center. Exhale here. Inhale, lengthen out to the crown. And as you exhale, let left ear come to the left shoulder. Right ear to the right shoulder. And just checking in on this side, opening up to the left side of the neck. Relax the jaw, the muscles of the face, space between your brow. And when you feel ready, you'll start to walk your left fingertips out to the left. Let them hover an inch or so away from the floor, the earth. Spread out the fingers wide. Feel that energetic connection, that vibration still between your fingertips and the floor, even though we're not there physically. Another big breath here. And as you exhale, let your left fingertips come back to the earth. On your inhale, gently bring your head and neck back up to center. Take a moment in stillness. And walk your hands a little bit further behind you toward your outer hips. Let your thumbs rotate out, baby fingers slightly in. And then draw your chin into the chest. Getting a little bit bigger in the back of the neck, behind the collarbones, behind the shoulders, behind the heart, chest, rib cage. Another big breath here. On your next inhale, gently bring your head and neck back up to center. We'll walk the hands a little bit further behind us, behind the hips. Again, thumbs rotating out, baby fingers slightly in. Think of drawing the front of the throat back, also known as Jalandhara Bandha, lock of the chin. And allow your chin, your eye gaze to come up. So opening up to the front of the neck. If it feels okay on your neck, you can allow your head to drop back. Just depends on you and your anatomical body here. Lift up to the front of the heart space. Feel the collarbones expand, still rooting down through your sit bones, your fingertips into the earth, or your hands. On your next inhale, gently bring your head, neck back up to center. Walk your hands back by your sides. We'll come into some rotation. On an inhale, find length, and as you exhale, turn your chin over to the left shoulder. Notice how if you lean into the left side, try to keep both ears on the same plane. So it doesn't have to be a big rotation. Next inhale, you'll come back to center and turn over to the right side. Next inhale, come back over to the left. Inhale, looking over to your right. We'll do one more round each side. Inhale to the left. Inhale over to your right. Next inhale, come back to center. So we're gonna come into a Janu Sirsasana seated position. So if you're sitting in Virasana, you'll unhook or unflex the legs, the knees. And you're more than welcome to stay seated upon a blanket, a bolster, or a pillow underneath your buttocks. Go ahead and extend your left leg out to the left. Right heel comes to the inner thigh, groin. And you'll bring your right hand out to your outer right hip today, just to create more space. Fingertips or your right hand palm into the floor. And we want to keep the left hand. I'm trying to mirror you guys. Keeping your right outer hip grounded. The left hand on the floor to the outer left hip. On your inhale, reach your right arm up over to the left. Just a gentle side bending here. Press down to the left hand palm, draw the shoulder blades down the back side. Just take a few big breaths, just feeling up to the right. So we're going to come into some movement. I like to call this flossing. So inhale, press down to the left hand palm. Think of lifting, expanding out through your right side, opening up through the chest, the ribs. Maybe gently turn and twist open to the ceiling, the sky. And then as you exhale, you're going to drape your upper body, your arm forward and down, kind of rounding in toward your center. Chin can get soft to the chest. The right elbow, shoulder can get soft. And then with your next inhale, let the breath help inflate the lungs, expanding you up, out, opening towards the ceiling, the sky again. And then as you exhale, we draw back in, reducing, releasing, in and down. And just a few more like this. And you're more than welcome to move with your own breath. And that top arm, it can even have a bend. It doesn't have to be super straight. And think of the ribs, the lung space carrying you into this shape. Not so much physical effort. But we want to keep the left hand or fingertips grounding into the floor to support. Right, so we're not collapsing into the left side of the body as we open to the right. And just a few more on this side. You can really let the head, the neck get heavy here. Might feel good in the back side, especially as we get bigger. Holding some tension in the back body. So the next time you come into that open expression, just take another big breath here, exhaling. Inhaling, expanding up, inflating the right side of the ribs. Next inhale, reach your right fingertips up to come back up. We'll switch sides. Right leg out laterally, left foot comes to the inner thigh, heel to the groin. You'll walk your right hand out to the right to your outer right hip, either fingertips grounding to the floor or palm to the floor. Keeping your outer left hip grounded. On your inhale, reach your left arm up and over and just take a few big breaths in this lateral stretch. Right hand palm pressing down. Draw the shoulder blade down the backside. Breathing into the left side, left ribs, left lung, left side of the heart, down to the left side body, out to the left hip. We'll start to add that movement. So as you inhale, press your right hand palm down, draw the shoulder blade down the backside, open up the chest. And then as you exhale, let the front body draw in and down, draping over. Arm can get heavy, head and neck can get heavy, chin to chest. Inhale as you breathe, expand into the lungs carrying you up, out into space. The top arm can get soft. And then exhale, you come back in and down. You'll start to again move within your own breath. And we can let go some effort in the physical form and just allow the breath body, subtle body, to move us into the shape. We might be tapping more into the organ space as we bring more air into the lobe of our right lung, or left lung, I should say. Okay, so the air carrying us up and out, that expansion into the lung space, which expands into the rib cage, side body here. So allowing a little bit more fluidity rather than stiffness. And the next time you come up and out, we'll just hold for another big breath or so. And then with your next inhale, reach your left fingertips up to come back up to center. Let's come into a wide-legged forward fold, so both legs out laterally. Bring your hips to bring your hands to your outer hips. We're gonna lift the buttocks away from the floor and think of drawing your tailbone slightly forward. Not really tucking, but just getting a little bit more length in our pelvis. And then maybe opening the legs a little bit wider. Flex out to the feet, draw the thighs gently down. Hands in front of you, and on an inhale, lift with your chest, your heart, and as you exhale, you'll come into a fold. We'll be here for just a few big breaths, so you decide on how far you go today. I like to keep the legs, the feet fairly active here, so I'm not overextending into the hamstring connection, especially those who are a little bit more open or flexible. Keep drawing the sit bones down, so we're not overextending, over opening, or expanding, especially as our joints are shifting to create more space for our babies. And we're not leaking our own energy, right? Drawing our energy back in and up, out. Two more big breaths here. Last big breath. Use your next inhale to lift your upper body back upright. You can use your hands to bring your legs back together. And then you're going to come to your hands and knees. Always support your knees with a blanket if you need to. You're going to come into tabletop position. Hands and knees. Fingertips spread wide, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath your hip width. Knees can always be a little bit wider too for those that are a little, getting bigger in the front body. Always do what you need to do to support your shape, your growth. A few rounds of cat-cow. So as you inhale, draw your heart forward, lengthen your tailbone back and slightly up, but keep drawing the baby into your body. And then as you exhale, press down, hugging baby in, lifting through the back of the heart, tailbone tucks, chin to chest. Cat shape. Inhale, expand out, but still containing our little babes, right? We don't want them to fall too far to the earth. And then exhaling, drawing them even closer in as you round, expand into the back body. Inhale. You can even bring the awareness back to the pelvic floor. As we inhale, the pelvic floor expands. And as we exhale, the pelvic floor draws back in and up. That sense of containment here. Let's do 3 more. Exhaling. Last 2. And last round here on your own. Exhaling. On your next inhale, come back to that length, traction of the spine, cow shape. And then as you exhale, let your big toes come together. Knees be as wide as you need to as you shift your hips back into child's pose. Now you can always bring your forearms underneath the forehead if you need to create a little bit of space away from the floor. Forehead can always come to the floor if that's accessible. And then maybe arms reaching out long, or arms can come back to your sides next to your hips. This could be a nice shoulder release. And with your next inhale, come back to tabletop position. We're just going to add a little bit more movement. On your inhale, draw your chest heart forward, tailbone back and up. Still draw the front belly in, baby into body. And then as you exhale, you're going to round your spine, tailbone tucks, hips shift back to the heels in child's pose. Inhale carries you forward, back, up, and out. Exhale, we press down, hug baby in, tailbone tucks, round, hips to the heels, child's pose. Let's do 2 more. Exhaling. Inhale. And exhale, rounding. And then just take another breath or 2 in your child's pose. On your next inhale, come back to tabletop, hands and knees, neutral tabletop. So we're going to invite some core strength here. We'll step the right leg out, stand the ball of your right foot. And then left arm out in front of us, fingertips can graze the floor. You can stay here with your left arm. You'll float right leg up, no higher than parallel than the floor, no higher than the right hip, right foot flex, toes point down. And if you want more challenge, left arm floats up parallel. On your inhale, lengthen out through the fingers and toes, the foot. As you exhale, think elbow to the knee, but draw the baby into the body. Doesn't have to be a deep squeeze, especially if you're getting bigger. Inhale, you expand back out. Exhale, you bring it back in. Inhale, expand. Exhale, back in. 3 more on your own, moving with your breath. Inhale, expanding. Exhale, hug it in. With your next inhale, lengthen back out. Bring your left hand to the floor. And then right toes to the floor, but keep your right leg extended out behind you. You're going to shift your right leg out to the right, so the right foot becomes flat to the floor. And the inner seam or your inner arch of your right foot is lined with your left knee. Keep your left hip stacked over your left knee. We're going to come into some neck, shoulder release here. Shift your body weight to your left hand. On an inhale, reach your right arm up to the sky. Eye gaze can follow. Exhale here, holding. Inhale, reach back up. Exhaling. 1 more big breath. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to come into some movement. Inhale here. As you exhale, bring your right arm towards the crown of your head. Chest comes towards the floor, looking forward. And then as you exhale, bring your right elbow into the chest. This gentle rounding like we do in our cat shape. Inhale, you open your right arm up, chest up towards the ceiling again. Exhaling, reaching your right arm forward. Elbow draws in. Inhale, expand back up and out. Exhaling, reaching forward. Elbow draws in. Let's do 1 more round. Inhale, reach back up. And then exhale, right hand to the floor. Keep the right leg extended out laterally. You're going to come up to your left knee. So your right foot stays on the floor. You're going to come into gate pose. So it might feel nice to keep your right leg straight. If it doesn't feel nice in your hips, your pelvis, you'll bend your right knee. Toes can turn out to the right. The left hand on your left hip, right hand to your right thigh for balance. On an inhale, reach your left arm up, over to the right. So you come into this lateral flexion of your left side. Nice, everyone. A few big breaths. Keep lengthening tailbone down. And then come back to that pelvic floor engagement. So as you inhale, feel the expansion beneath you. The exhale, the energy drawing back in and up. Contraction through the pelvic floor. With your next inhale, bring your upper body back to center. We're going to come into a kneeling half moon or side plank. So left hand to the floor, out to the left side. Fingertips to the floor, hand on your block. On your inhale, you're going to reach your right arm over to the crown of your head. I'll face you guys so you can see me a little bit better. Left toes can tuck, finding a little bit more balance, or you press the top of your left foot into the earth. Next inhale, reach your right arm up. Safely come back up. You're going to slide your right leg out in front of you so you come into a low lunge stance. Good. Hands can stay on your thighs, your hips, or you can bring your hands to blocks. Again, what feels right for you. Walk your right foot a little bit further forward to let your hips shift forward and down without over pulling into the hip flexors. So you go as far as you need to go today. And coming back to your breath. Again, think of tailbone lengthening straight down. As we exhale, that tone and lift from our pelvic floor to support. If you want to add the arms today, you are more than welcome to reach your arms up and out. Or arms can always come to the heart center, or hands can always stay at your hips. A few more big breaths. If your arms are up, we'll bring your right hand to the right hip. On an inhale, reach your left arm up and over to your right, coming into a hip flexor release. So as release. Nice, everyone. A few big breaths. Good. Inhale, come back to center. And then hands to the floor, step your right foot back or right leg back, come back into neutral tabletop, hands and knees. We do that same whole sequence on the other side. So we'll start with the arm and leg extensions. So you'll step the left foot back, send the ball of your left foot. Right fingertips graze the floor. On your inhale, you're drawing baby in. Lift left leg up, left foot flexed. On your next inhale, right arm reaching forward. No higher than parallel. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw elbow to knee. Doesn't have to touch, doesn't have to be super tight, but draw the baby in. Inhale, expand. Exhale, we hug in. 4 more, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, expand. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale. Exhale. Last round. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hug in. Next inhale, expand out. Right hand comes back to the earth. Left toes come to the floor, and then glide your left foot leg out to the left. So the outer inner seam of our left foot runs parallel to the long side of our mats or space. The arch, inner arch in line with your right knee. And then allow your hips to shift a little bit further to the left so your right hip stays stacked on top of your right knee. You can always walk your left foot out a little bit to the left. Body weight to your right hand. On your inhale, reach your left arm up and out. We hold for 2 big breaths or 3 big breaths. Inhale, reaching out. Exhale, draw the shoulder blades down the mid back. 2 more big breaths. One more big breath here. Good. Inhale, reaching out. And as you exhale, bring your left arm out towards the crown of your head. Chest rotating to the floor. And as you exhale, draw the elbow in, kind of rounding into the back body like cat. Inhale, expanding up and out, opening through the chest. Exhale, left arm towards the crown, squaring off the chest. Elbow draws in, back body expands. And just a couple more like this. Mobilizing the shoulder girdle, the head, the neck, upper spine. Next time you come open, that open twist expression, hold here, exhale. Inhaling. And then on your next exhale, let your left hand come back to the earth. And then walk your hands back so you come upright. And come into gate pose. So left leg can stay long or the knee can bend. Left hand to your thigh. On an inhale, reach your right arm up over to the left. Few big breaths onto the right side body. Come back up to center on your inhale. Right hand to the floor or a block or a book. Outer right hip, inhale, reach your left arm up over to the crown. Gentle side plank or kneeling half moon. And breathe big onto the left side here. Inhale, left fingertips lift up to help carry you back up to center. Hands to your hips for balance. You'll slide your left leg out in front of you, coming into your low lunge stance. So right hip over the right knee to start. Feel your feet connect, tailbone lengthens. As you exhale, the pelvic floor draws in and up. You can always walk your left foot a little bit further out so your hips come forward and down, but do what feels right in our pubic center, into the hip flexors. We don't want to overstretch or overpull. And then when you're ready, you can keep hands in your hips, heart space, or if you want a little bit more action, arms can float up and out. A few deep breaths. And then come back to that pelvic floor engagement. So as you inhale, feel that sense of expansion, lengthening down. And you exhale, that slight tone and lift from your pelvic floor up and out. 2 more big breaths. Last big breath here. Bring your left hand to your hip. On an inhale, reach up through your right arm over to the left. Coming a little bit more into the hip flexor, so as keeping the awareness of the pelvic floor so we're not releasing too much down beneath us. We still want that sense of containment, so we don't splay too much out from the bottom. Inhale, reach your right arm back up. And then either hands to the floor, just step your left foot back. knee to the floor. And then either sit upon your heels to find some balance, some stillness, or come back into child's pose, you decide. You can rest both hands in your lower abdomen. Maybe one hand in your lower abdomen, one hand on the heart space, just checking in. Know you can always stay here a little bit longer, do what feels right. If you're ready, you'll follow me. You'll make your way into downward facing dog. You can start in tabletop. Tuck your toes. On an inhale, lift your hips up and back. Come into your downward facing dog. Legs can be as wide as they need to be, your stance, right, to support our growing bodies, our growing shapes. Press forward and down through your finger pads, especially your index, your thumb. Inner elbows hug in, triceps around down towards your toes. Lift up out to the shoulders. As your heels press down, they don't have to touch the floor. Lift up through your inner thighs, backs of the legs, the outer hips. Draw baby into your body, hugging baby into the body. Next inhale, walk your hands back towards your feet. So you come into a slight forward fold, knees can have a bend. Just bring the hands can stay on the floor for some of us. Hands might need to come to shins or even thighs. Inhale, find length. Exhale here. Inhale, press down, come all the way into Tadasana, mountain pose. Just take a moment in your equal standing position. We're going to come into an open leg stance, so you can stay facing forward or you can come longwise on your mat, your space. We'll step right leg out to the right. So we're in a wide-legged stance. Bring your hands to your hips for balance. We're going to come into goddess shape or horse stance. So heels turn in, toes turn out. Good. And then once you're here, think of lengthening again, tailbone straight down. We draw front body in, so hugging baby into our bodies, into our spine. And then bend the knees. Make sure your knees track over your toes. It doesn't have to be a big squat today. And come back to your breath, into the nose, out through the nose. We're going to add some breath direction with arm movement. Just bring the hands to the heart center, Undulating Mudra. And as you inhale, reach your arms out and up. Think of collecting energy. And then as you exhale, bring your prayer all the way down into your pelvis. Keep the fingertips touching, palms turn up as you bring the energy back up. Up to the heart, and as you exhale, arms out to the sides. Good. Inhale, arms float back up and out. Exhale, hands, palms come together, prayer all the way down into the pelvis. Maybe sit a little bit deeper. Fingers stay connected as you bring the palms facing upward, outward. Draw the energy up. Exhale out to all parts of self. Just a few more. Inhale. Collecting energy as we exhale, we draw the energy in, down. On your inhale, you bring the energy back up. On the next exhale, out to all parts of self. And feel free to do 2 more on your own. Maybe you decide to sit a little bit deeper, those who want a little bit more strength building today, a little bit more of a challenge. Good. On your next inhale, take your time in your round. Reach your arms out and up, lengthen out through the legs. Let your toes point forward, exhale, forward fold, bend your hips. Hands can come to the floor underneath the shoulders, a block or a book. On an inhale, find length. On your exhale, you can deepen the fold. You open the legs as wide as you need them to be. And on your inhale, come up halfway length. The knees can have a slight bend. Gently come all the way back up. Hands can come to your hips. You'll bring your feet a little bit closer together, a little bit wider than hip width. We're going to come into a low squat, Malasana. Turn your heels in, toes turn out. Go ahead, bend your knees, send your hips down to the floor. So you can always sit upon a pillow, a block or two, maybe a couple blankets. And you can always go against a wall, backside to the wall in this one too. Might be a nice support. You got it. Good. Hands at the heart center, drawing the chest forward, chest up, tailbone lengthens. And then because we're here, we're kind of tapping more into our pelvic floor region. So come back to that sensation as you inhale, pelvic floor expands. And the exhale, that slight tone and lift from our pelvic floor. Just a couple more big breaths. So pulsating Mula Bandha here. Last big breath. And you're going to make your way onto your buttocks. So however you can get there comfortably, safely. You're going to come into bound angle, Baddha Konasana. So soles of your feet come together, knees fall out to the sides. You create a diamond shape between your heels, the knees, your hips. Hands at your shins. On your inhale, find length. On your exhale, you'll come into a fold. Doesn't have to be a deep fold. Press the soles of your feet together. The toes can separate out. Keep leading with the heart space, especially those who are a little bit bigger in the front body. So it doesn't have to be a big flexion. Two more big breaths. On your next inhale, use your hands, gently come back up to center. Use your hands to bring your legs back up. And then come into just a gentle seated forward fold, so legs out long in front of you. Again, deciding kind of how width or how wide your legs should be. You're going to go a little bit wider than hip width for me and my anatomical body today. Flex out to the feet, draw the thigh bones down, and then you'll just walk your fingertips slightly forward. Those who have more space in the front body, you can come deeper into the forward fold. Those who are a little bit bigger will keep the chest up, spine longer and straighter. Just think of reaching out to the soles of the foot, out to the crown of the head, whether how far you're going deep into the forward fold or where, how deep is your forward fold. You still want that length and space. Next inhale, we'll come back up to center. And do a little bit more hip mobility before we bring it back in and down. So you're gonna lie on your, let's start on the left, on opening through or strengthening through the right side. So you're gonna lie on your left side body. Always support your hips if you have a hardwood floor. So there's a couple variations that you can do with the bottom left leg. We're going to come into this outer seam hip strengthening. So the bottom leg can stay straight, hips stay stacked, or the bottom leg can be bent like a kickstand. You're going to bring your head, your upper body to the floor. You're more than welcome to lay on your left arm. This could be at like a pillow. If you need more support for your head and neck, please bring a pillow or a blanket underneath the head and neck for support. Right hand out in front of you, fingertips to the floor for balance. And then if your left leg is straight, you'll flex the left foot and then flex your right foot. So we're kind of activating in the outer hip joint. Draw baby into the body. Think of lengthening tailbone to the backs of your knees. And with your next inhale, you'll float right leg up to the ceiling, to the sky. Exhale, you'll lower back down. And we'll just do a few rounds like this. If you want more challenge, your right hand can press away into your right thigh. So we're creating this, I can't talk right today, having mama pregnancy brain, but some kind of resistance, right? With the hand palm pressure connection. But if it feels too much, no big deal. This might feel a lot already. Just a few more on this side. Keep drawing baby into the body. Lengthen through the tailbone. The next time you exhale, relax. We're going to work the inner seam of our bottom leg. So you'll bend your right knee. Plant your right foot on the floor in front of your left leg. Now you can use your right hand to walk your heel in towards higher, but this might feel a little bit weird on your outer hip. So do the position that feels right for you. And you can always take a moment, bring your right hand to the inner thigh and just press it away from you so your hips stay a little bit more stacked. And then when you're ready, right fingertips hand to the floor. You'll flex the left foot so the left leg is long. And on your inhale, you'll float left inner thigh up towards the ceiling, the sky. Exhale, you'll lower. And just a few more like this. Doesn't have to be a big lift. You want to keep the hips stacked. Tailbone lengthening to the back left knee. Drawing baby into our body, into our spine. We're strengthening up to the inner thigh, inner groin, as well as our pelvic floor. Help stabilizing through our hips or pelvis as they expand to make room for baby. Let's do a couple more. The next exhale, relax. And then we'll switch sides. So you'll gently roll to your opposite side or swivel to your other side. Set yourself up, take your time. So now the bottom leg's the right leg, top leg is the left. Want the hips to be stacked. Right arm underneath your head or a pillow or a blanket to support. Left hand in front of you, fingertips or palm supporting your balance. And again, your bottom right leg could be tucked behind you, bending at the knee, or it can be straight out laterally or long in front of you, behind you. Lengthen tailbone to the backs of the knees, draw front body in, baby into spine. Flex the left foot, and as you inhale, float left leg up towards the ceiling. Good, exhale, lower. Few more. Take your time. Just a couple more here. Next time your left leg meets right, take a moment in stillness, let that settle, digest. And then bend your left knee, plant your left foot in front of your right leg. Again, you can use your left hand to walk your heel, your ankle in closer, higher towards your chest.
Do what feels right for your hips. You want them to stay stacked. So you can use your left hand palm to press your left leg out away from you gently. And then left hand comes to the floor. Flex your right foot. And when you're ready, on your inhale, lift up to the inner right thigh up towards the ceiling. Exhale, you'll lower. A few more on your own. Keep drawing baby into spine. Lengthen tailbone to the back right knee. Working the inner seam of our right leg, right hip, pelvic floor. Couple more here. Next time you exhale, go ahead, release, relax. You can stack left leg on top of right. Just take a moment in stillness. And then gently roll to your back side. So those of us that are a little bit more into our pregnancy, lying on the back might not be the most comfortable thing. So this is where you want to either prop your shoulders upon something, whether it's a block, a pillow, so the shoulders are higher than your hips. So I'm going to use my bolster, but again, you can use a pillow. Run it down the length of your spine. So the chest is just above the hip line. So we're not putting all the pressure into the vena cava, the artery of the heart. So we're not losing any blood pressure here. Blood pressure is staying up rather than dropping too low. And those who are flat on the back, awesome. I miss laying flat on my back, to be honest. Take a moment, walk the shoulder blades a little bit closer underneath you. And let's go ahead, bend the knees so your feet are flat. Let the knees knock in, heel toe your feet a little bit wider than hip width. Arms can stay by your sides or a little bit further out. Those who are flat on the back, arms out, cactus-shaped arms might feel nice here. We'll just come into some gentle windshield wipers. So as you inhale, you'll inhale here, and as you exhale, let your knees gently fall over to your right side. And then inhale, you come back to center, feet land flat to the floor. Exhale, knees fall over to your left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, knees to your right. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees to the left. We'll do one more round each side. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees to the right. Inhale, you'll come back to center. Exhale, knees to the left. And inhale, come back to center. Take a moment in stillness. And then arms coming back by your sides. Comfortable on your back. You're more than welcome to stay upon your back side. Legs can go long. I am going to choose to stay seated upright and are closing because that feels better for me and my body where I'm at in my own pregnancy today. So if you would like to sit up, that is always an option. And again, you can keep your shoulders a little bit higher than hips. If you're feeling like lying on your back is a little too much for you today. Just take a moment, walk the shoulder blades closer underneath you.
And let's bring one hand to the heart center, one hand to the belly center, connecting to our baby, our babes, and just feeling our presence, right? That presence of ourselves, connecting into our growing life, a life that we're providing for, that we're holding space for. Allow the breath to soften. Just feeling the natural intake of energy, prana. Again, as you inhale, think of drawing white light. You might see it as white light from the crown down into the heart. And as you exhale, can you bring that white light back down in towards your babe? Inhaling in the new light. Receiving, and as you exhale, you bring it further in and down into our baby. You might see it as a protective light or night of nutrients, nourishing, providing, receiving new energy, calming energy, healing energy. And just stay with this sensation, this vibration, maybe mental image. Just a few more big breaths. Two of you being surrounded by that same light, healing light. We'll all make our way into a seated position to pose together. So those who are lying on the back, feel free to add gentle movements into the fingers, the toes, just waking up the physical form a little bit more. Roll to your right side in a fetal position. And gently make your way into a comfortable seated position. And once you have found your seat, let's bring both hands to our lower abdomen, right? Where we're carrying our seed, our baby. Just feeling that inner connection as well as the external connection. Allow the abdomen to expand to the palms, receiving that love, and as you exhale, giving back that love, the energy inward. Let's bring both hands to the heart center, Anjali Mudra, sign of gratitude. Just take a moment to honor the efforts, the compassion that we bring forth into our own bodies, into our own shapes as we move forward in our own paths and within our pregnancies. Honoring where we're at with each day, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally and vibrationally. And just take a moment to honor the efforts that it takes to just be here, to support ourselves and each other as we come collectively on this virtual platform. And thank you for allowing me to help support you in a way that I can. It's always appreciated.